Hello and welcome back to Bobby Plays, where I demonstrate games that I enjoy and I try to explain why I like them. Today we are going to be going into Soulmask. And this is a game that was released in April of 2026. Its regular full price is $30, but you can find it for 20% or more off. Um, it it's a really it's a I have about 36 hours in the game this far, and it's really a tremendous value. There's so much to do, there's so much to explore. Currently I'm about mid-level, I don't know, maybe 30ish or so. um, there's some advanced features like ships and shipbuilding that I won't be showing you because I haven't unlocked it myself. Soul Mask is I don't know if I mentioned, but it's released in April of 2026, so it's pretty new. But it's had a really great reception. The developers seem very keen on listening to the community and making improvements and making adjustments, and they constantly adding and content and improving. Like they just had a major UI improvement update, making building a little bit easier. And I would call this a survival slash crafting slash base building slash tribe building game. That's a lot to do in one game. I play locally single player, but multiplayer is built in. You can play multiplayer either on someone else's server, an official server, or a server that you rent. Of course, you typically server rentals, I don't know, $15 a month or whatever, but you get a private server, so it's just for you and your friends. Or you can do a local co-op session that allows other people to play. But I've only done single player so far. The game's called Soul Mask, one word, and it gets its name from masks that you wear. Each of those masks has certain bonuses, and you can unlock new buffs within the mask system. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So what it is survival game, and of course, when I load up the game, it happens to be raining, so sorry about that. The survival part. At the bottom of the screen, you can see there's four little boxes right in the center, and they represent your rest. The next one is how much you're carrying. I'm not carrying a whole lot because I've learned that you're going to go out and you're going to find stuff, so try not to carry too much around with me so that I can fill up and bring stuff back. The third button is your satiety is how hungry you are. How about that? And the last one is your uh, how much. What is the right word? Drink meter is what I'm going to call it, but your hydration level. Thank you, brain. I'll promise not to poke you with a toothpick next time. Okay, so survival. So that's a lot of the survival aspect of it, because you don't want to starve. You don't want to run out of. And the game is, first of all, it's very configurable. But before we get into that, it's pretty soft on what happens to you. So sometimes, like if you hunger goes down or something, maybe it'll just restrict your movement a little bit or something. It's not like you just instantly die. Uh, it is, of course, as a survival game, you don't want to get killed or eaten. And there's plenty of things here in this rainforest that will do just that. Some of these, if you have any phobias about animals, it might be a little bit triggering because there are some snakes in this game that are enormous. And even the crocodiles are gigantic. They're huge. So it's the first time you encounter one, especially when you encounter one when you're not expecting it. It's quite the jump scare. Uh, so the game is very configurable. Let me just we're going to go back to the main menu here. And let me just kind of give you an idea of just how configurable it is. We'll go in here, and all of these things, you know, you have all of these sliders for, I don't know, you see the scroll bar here, we just have all these different things that you can configure for yourself or for your team. Basically for your server is really what it rolls down to. So there's just so many things here that you can configure. Plus we have all these other toggles on and off, like building decay. It's a very simple, straightforward thing. If you want building decay on, then every so often your building will start to deteriorate and you'll need to repair it. This random invasion, if you want to have animals, you know, attacking your base, if you want to have that as something that happens, then you can turn that on. Ditto with barbarians and other things. So again, so many different customizations you can do. Some people like extra challenge, some people like me, I just like exploring and building and that sort of thing. So I'm going to load it back up here. So that's one aspect of that survival. You know, how much challenge do you want? So it's I really like that feature because right out of the gate, you know, they don't say, "Oh, you have to play the way that we intended it for you to play." And oh, well, who knew? Going out to the main menu caused all the rain to go away. Let me just show you how big the world is. I have only unlocked. I shouldn't say. I shouldn't call it unlocked. There is no unlocking of excuse me, of the zone. You just explore, and then if you discover it, you discover it. And there are, I believe, 26 different regions to explore, and I think I'm only into 2 or 3 regions so far, and I'm mid-level. So there's just so much to explore. So this is the mount, and the biomes right now we're kind of in a, how would you say, it's a rainforest biome. They have snow mountains, they have volcanoes, they have river valleys, they have wetlands, and again, you know, rainforests like this. So they have all these different biomes. And I will just turn around and show you. This is my second base that I built. And of course, I built it on this nice shore. And the shore has some advantages. For one thing, clay. If you look over across the pond there's some big lumps of clay that you can harvest. And those are useful for making bricks and a few other things. And plus, you know, hey, it's a nice little lake here to kind of calm my people. So let's just go inside. And this is the base I built. You start off with thatch materials. Basically just, you know, weeds and stuff that you harvest, and you kind of weave those into buildable materials as well as clothing. And so my first base was just a very basic starter base. This one, you know, because I'm, you know, prime real estate here right on the lake, I wanted to build something nicer and have plenty of room to expand. So a key aspect of the game is that you have this fire, and that sort of marks your base territory, kind of a, you know, a marker, but it also provides buffs to yourself and to Got a nice little table there. I have a little day bed here, and then if I go upstairs, that's where we have some more of the beds. And this is just sort of like a way to put weapons and armor in here that your tribespeople can pick up and equip, rather than you have to manually go to each one and say, hey, put this on. Any questions so far? Well, good. All right, so let me go find somebody who looks halfway intelligent. All right. I'm going to take this guy, and I am going to tell him to follow me. Now I'll get to the, you know, how you get these people and everything for now. And I'm going to have this person come with me. You can have multiple people, followers, you know, follow you into combat. But for now, we're just going to take this guy. And let's just go look for trouble. And by the way, the world is just, it's all handcrafted, the whole entire map. And there's just so much going on here. It just, you really get immersed in it. The sounds, everything. All right, here's some people that we can whoop up on. I should probably equip my weapon. That would be nice. So I have followers that have, you know, a mix of different kinds of weapon skills. So some of them could be ranged. Some of them could be, you know, up front and, you know, right in your face kind of thing. And what's kind of cute is all the characters, they drop these little, you know, death things. So these are all the different things that they have. Oh, look, you can learn how to do a hula dance. So, you know, got to take that, right? So I will take that and hula skirt. Sure, why not? And let's see, herbs I can use for cooking. And bandage, I don't need that. So anyway, that's you can go around to everybody that you killed, and you can, whether you've killed them or somebody in your tribe has killed them, you can pick up that material. Sometimes in these ruins there's old scrolls and things that you can read that will grant you certain bonuses. There's usually going to be some, oh, here it is. There's a chest that belongs to the group. I always try to make sure to take these sunstones because they come in useful for repowering certain things. Corn seed, you can definitely do farming. It's very encouraged by the game. If you want to, it's optional. I found that I find plenty of food, but if you want to grow food, especially if you want to feed animals, then there's seeds and things here. Bandages always come in handy because I'm always getting injured. I'll take some silver ore that I can turn into, you know, silver ingots. Gauze, sure, why not? Take these things. All right, so that's kind of an overview of how the combat works. And I'm going to just wander back over to the home. And I'm in a fairly peaceful area. But if I wander too far away, then I'm going to be attacked by jaguars and, jaguars and all kinds of other beasts. Once I'm back in here, I'll just tell my person, all right, you don't have to follow me anymore. I could have had everybody that I have in here come with me. But, you know, just for that demonstration purpose, here, put this away. Just for the demonstration purpose, that I'd just bring one person along. Okay, so some items that when you just go to the crafting aspect, right? We talked about the survival aspect. Let's look at the, and we showed a little bit of the combat. Let's look at crafting. So when you first start off, you can craft a number of things just on your own. You don't need anything special. And you can continue to still do those if you need to, you know, just on your own. But eventually you're going to need dedicated crafting tables. So for example, if I want to take just raw wood and I want to make planks into it, then I would use a carpenter's table. So here I can take, you know, just raw wood that I get from chopping down a tree, and depending on how good the wood is, if it's a hardwood, then I can make a hardwood plank, and or otherwise I'm making a regular plank. And then these planks in turn can be used by other of the crafting benches to make other things. Does that make sense? Okay, so the cool thing is that if you have tribesmen at your base, you can assign them to each individual crafting station, and they can be assigned to more than one. So if you see in the bottom right over here, my skilled hunter has been assigned to this particular crafting station. And you also might notice that I said, okay, I don't want this guy making planks forever and ever. I just want to make sure I have a stock of a couple hundred or so on hand. So if I want to, maybe make an addition onto my house, or I need to make a few weapons or something, that I've got enough planks on hand to do it. So you can have multiple queues that you set the maximum, and the person assigned to that will automatically, without you having to direct them, if they have the materials, they will come and they will craft and make that many of items. So it's really powerful. It's really customizable. Once you set it up, and it does take a little bit to kind of learn those setup things, but once you do that, it's almost automatic. These guys are just doing these things. Now you can do them on your own. You don't have to, but it's really, really, really powerful. If you love the challenge of crafting and unlocking new recipes, you're going to love this game. If you hate crafting, well, tough luck. Maybe this isn't the right thing for you. You can also have animals. I actually have an alpaca who I keep tied up right outside here. And, this is another thing. Each of your tribesmen has their own agency. They are their own person, right? They're not just... There's other games I've played, like Enshrouded or something, where you have NPCs that you have in your base, and they just kind of stand around waiting for you to tell them to do something. These guys, they are their own thing, and they'll work for you and they'll fight for you. But when they're bored, you see what happens. They're just dancing. But anyway, I came out here to show you the alpaca, who doesn't seem to be impressed by the dancing. And the alpaca is just one of the kinds of animals that you can tame or you can raise. And it's nice because you can ride the alpaca, and he runs pretty darn fast. And he's an extra pack animal, so you bleeded a little bit there. He's very handy because he's an extra pack animal, so if your inventory gets filled up and you've been out mining or collecting things, or you got a whole bunch of loot, then you can just put a lot of that on him. Okay. So, let's see here. Let me just pause for just a moment. I really like... Well, let's talk about the tribe management. Let's go here. Let's go tribe overall management and work in position. And you can... Let me just change this to skilled guard, for example. It shows the tasks that that I've assigned to him. So maintain the camp. That is things like doing any kind of repairs. If there's anything that just happens to be like left on the floor or something, he'll take care of that. If there are certain storage boxes that are primary for a certain material, but maybe other storage boxes are secondary, they'll take care of moving things to the right place. So sometimes when I come in from gathering things from everywhere, I'll come in and I'll dump them all in a specific box. Just dump everything in the same box. And then that maintain camp, that's part of what he does. It then takes those things, like puts the wood in the wood box and puts the herbs in the cooking box and all those sorts of things. So you can see the sort items in nearby boxes. But he's also doing the furnace. Right? So if I have any raw ore that's available, he'll take, and any job set up, he'll take care of doing that. So that's that particular person. Somebody else does the carpenter's table. There's also a place that I've got outside of my camp, not too far away, that I have a logging yard set up. And he'll go out there and he'll chop down trees as needed. And I don't have to do that myself. He just goes and does it. So super powerful, and you feel like it's just amazing because you get these guys or girls, and you assign them these different things, which takes a little bit of time to set them up. But then they go out and do these things. On the left side, you see there's a list of skills. There's two columns. So some of these things like mining, for example, or logging, like in this particular case, the logging skill is a level 69, so which is pretty good. So he's more efficient at that. He'll get more materials when he logs, and he's a little bit faster at it. So ideally, you want to kind of assign people to these crafting stations and to these other jobs where it kind of fits their skill. But they'll, even if they're very weak at it, like planting, he's only level 10 out of 88 for planting. But if he does it, he'll develop the skill on his own. He learns by doing. So that's really cool. Let's see, let's go here. And let's just pick up another person here. And if I go over to proficiency, it kind of has that same set of screen, same screen, but it's a little bit easier to see. And you can kind of see especially what their combat skills are. What weapons and what weapon combinations are they really good at. Great sword in this game is actually a pretty powerful thing. It's a little bit slower swinging, of course. But I kind of encourage by default my guys using the greatsword. But they'll use whatever you want them to use, and then they'll develop proficiency in that over time. And then as they develop efficiency at these, once they reach these different levels, 30, 60, 90, etc., you can choose certain enhancements to that for each of them. All right, so how do you get these guys? Well, you remember those guys we just killed a little while ago? I could have gone up to one of them and used one of my special powers, I guess because of the mask, and it would have basically mesmerized them, and I would be able to take them back here with me, and they would become part of my tribe. So theoretically, you want to get people who have special abilities, but a lot of times in the heat of battle, it's just not practical, because while you're busy trying to mesmerize somebody else is beating on you. So a lot of times it just ends up being the last person left alive that I end up doing that, and that's been fine for me. I get a pretty good mix of people. Aesthetically, there's all kinds of costumes and things that you can make. People just keep running. Some people just got to exercise, right? They're just all over the place. And you can learn recipes for different outfits, like you see this person wearing the hula skirt. We learned it from that tribe over there. They'll drop recipes, and then you can make outfits based on that. So much to do, but it's not required. You don't have to do any of that. So let's go on to the skill tree. When you first start out, you're considered the rise of the barbarians, and these are the different skills that you have. And as you go on, and you sort of like come into different eras of your life, you can unlock these skills. You see, still have 49 points I haven't spent yet, because so far some of these things like brewing, I don't particularly want to do that, and the dyeing and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's there if you want it, but the next big thing for me is going to be the iron stuff. That's going to really bring me into a next era where I start making a lot of iron based stuff. And then as you see, it just keeps on going into steel after iron, and then you get fine steel, which gets the top of the line. So I still have a ways to go. I would say let me see, does it show what my level is? I'm level 50. So I would say I'm maybe a tenth of the way in terms of exploration, maybe about 40 or 50% in the way of kind of unlocking things, but there's so much more I can do that I haven't done yet. One other aspect is the mask, the namesake mask. You can see I'm wearing a mask, and you can come up with other masks that you get from people or you discover in your searching, and you can use these masks to unlock other things. So there's, it's kind of like a skill tree, and so it might be suggesting I unlock this one here. Uh, so basically, it's going to give me a proficiency at great swords. My proficiency, in other words, how fast I level up those 1 to 100 skills, is going to increase that growth rate by 50% if I use my mask points to unlock this. Let's go back to the map for a moment. There is fast travel, but it's only if you use these portals, like I have highlighted down here. So you'd have to go to a portal, and then you would be able to fast travel to any other portal. So there's another portal over here, so I could fast travel between them. And there's another one over here. So they're spread about, a somewhat convenient level. At a later level, you'll be able to build a kind of portal within your base itself. But right now, I'm not to that point. So I hope that's been a good introduction and kind of get an idea of why I like this game. There's just so much you can do. Incredible amount of content for $30, and you can probably find it 20% off pretty easily. In fact, as I'm creating this today, in late July of 2026, there is a 20% off on Steam. So it's just a really good value. And like I say, the devs are constantly upgrading the game, providing a roadmap of how they want the game to go. And there's just so much crafting, battle, whatever you want to focus on. And especially if you had like a private server where you had multiple friends, where I could focus on base building and basic stuff. Somebody else could go out and do the exploration and the murdering, and somebody else could manage the tribes, go out and get new tribes members and that sort of thing. The number of tribes people you can have is based on the skill tree. I've got right now my max is 9. I don't even have 9 people in because I don't even want to manage 9 people, but I could. And then if I expand that more, I'm not sure what the max is, but 9 people is quite a bit. And theoretically, I could bring all of them into combat with me when I go, raid a base or something of one of the other clans. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was informative and hopefully not too boring. All right, see you next time on Bobby Plays.